Hi there, welcome to Makers TV. I am Michaela Danvers, and today I'm going to tell you the 5 reasons why you must have a website for your own business. A lot of people ask whether they really need one, if they're selling online or anything like that. But I'm here to tell you why you must have a website for your business today. So, hi, I already said I'm Michaela Danvers from the Makers Collective, and I publish weekly short episodes delivering actionable lessons to strengthen your brand and grow your business. And I'm a little bit distracted by myself today because I don't know if anyone's noticed, but I don't normally wear this much makeup. And I just wanted to shout out to all the women out there because it is International Women's Day today. And I have fully tizzed up the face in honor of International Women's Day. And that might seem a little bit of a weird thing to do for International Women's Day, but the reason I did it is because I feel like part of equality is, I mean, it's a very big subject and I'm not going to go into it now, but basically part of that is as women taking control of how we look after ourselves and also taking some time out and just doing whatever we want to do sometimes, whether that might be something that you feel is a waste of time. So normally I don't wear makeup at all, like ever, unless I'm going somewhere really fancy like a wedding, or sometimes like if I do weekly videos like this, I do put a little bit of makeup on. And the reason being is I feel I'm too busy to do that. I don't have anything against makeup. I just don't have the time in the morning that it takes to do that sort of stuff. But I've been watching these videos lately on YouTube and I'm getting a little bit obsessed with these makeup tutorial videos. And for the most part, my brain is like, oh, who cares? Like we don't need to wear makeup and we don't need to wear makeup. And that's part of it as well. I feel like, just society's pressure to look a certain way is shit. I don't agree with it. But watching the videos really made me remember how much I actually enjoy the process of putting makeup on and the artistic process of that. And I remembered how when I was in school in year 11 and 12, I used to not wear full face makeup or anything, but spend time in the morning doing these crazy eyeshadows and nothing else, just like eyeshadow and mascara. And I just really loved it and I really liked doing that. So today I spent a good hour and a half just playing around with my terrible makeup that I do own because I never wear any. It's probably years old and very toxic for my skin. Anyway, the whole point of the story is that it is International Women's Day and I took a little bit of time today to do something for myself that I'm going to just wash off after this video. So it's not for anyone else except for you guys. I guess you get to see it in the video. But it really was just time for myself. And I think that is really important to do as women, to not feel guilty about taking time out for ourselves every now and again. It's nothing about earning it. It's nothing about deserving something, because taking time for yourself isn't something that you have to earn. And I did do a little rant about that on my Facebook page semi-recently, so you can go and check that out if you like. Anywho, 3 minutes and 45 seconds. We're actually going to start the episode now. So, as I said, I'm going to be talking about the website deal, why you need a website. And the reason I'm doing that is because in the first episode, we're up to episode 6 now, in the first episode of Makers TV, I introduced the concept of having the 7 core strengths of your business. And so today I'm going a little bit deeper into one of those, and that is your home base. Hello, Anu. Thank you for popping in, and happy International Women's Day to you as well. Oh gosh. Can you guys hear that? My phone's ringing. Awkward. Okay, we're going to jump right into it. Basically, a lot of people sort of wonder if they really do need a website for the business, especially because, social media has made it so easy these days to be able to sell online. You can sell on Facebook, you can sell on Instagram, you can sell anywhere really. You don't even need any of those platforms to do so. But in the last 20 years, female operated businesses have increased by a whopping 46%. And in 2014, which is a little while ago now, but 1 in 4 startups were run by a woman, which is still really low. It's only a quarter. But, you know, we're making progress. We're moving on up. So that's fantastic. So the number of women, I'm sorry, I'm just reading this from up here so I don't get it wrong. The number of women, and especially mums starting their own businesses, is climbing at a rapid pace. So that's really good. And, you know, starting out selling on Instagram and Facebook is sort of become second nature to people because it's so easy, and it's a really good sort of foot in the door to be able to sell your products. But then this question arises, do you really need a website for your business? And the short answer is yes. Yes, you do. If you need a little bit more convincing, I'm going to go through the 5 reasons now why I think you definitely must have a website for your business. So first of all, the number 1 reason is branding. So when we're talking about branding is not just your logo or the colors that you use or your fonts. It's really about the messaging and the promise that you're giving to your customers. So it's the experience that they have every single time they come across your brand. It's the history and the story of your business. It's why you're doing what you're doing. And it's all about how you're going to add value to your customers' lives. Now all of that is a lot to cover in a tiny little Instagram bio. You know, you only have like 5 or 6 lines in that bio, and you can't possibly cover all that stuff in that tiny little space. So that's where you, you know, if you have a website and that is, it kind of becomes the home of your brand, and you can tell that story and give that specific experience that you want your customers to have when they're interacting with your business. Now, the second part of this is the design of your actual website will be cohesive and true to your brand. So the visual elements of your brand are really important in that messaging, all the, like, again, the colors that you use and the imagery and all that kind of stuff. And on like Facebook has their own branding, and that is, you know, that sort of deep blue color and white and the specific layout. And then Etsy has their own branding, which is like orange, and Twitter has their own branding, which is light blue. So there's only so much you can do on those social media platforms to actually convey your brand and your own messaging through colors and imagery. And it's not really enough to solidify that message in your customers' minds, because there is that sort of like disrupt between the messaging that you're trying to express and then it's enclosed within this other branding from a different company. So, sorry, just popping down here. The next one, so that's like all branding, right? So the first point is branding. Then the next one I'm going to talk about is sales platform. So your own website is a very affordable sales platform. Basically, you have more control over the sales process if you have your own shop on your own website. If you are using anything like Big Cartel or Etsy or like the various options through Facebook to sell, you don't have total control over that process from your customer first seeing your product to making the purchase to getting the product and then like giving feedback and all that sort of stuff. So also a good thing to realize is that, like, for example, until recently on Etsy, as a buyer, you actually had to create a buying account to be able to buy something. You couldn't just like browse and then, you know, put in your guest details and then check out. Hey, Rachel. So that's a barrier to purchase, and you want to try and remove as many barriers as possible. You don't want any friction on the path to someone purchasing your product. And because if there is any friction, if they were sort of a bit so-so about it, they're out. Like that's enough to get them like off the other side of the fence kind of thing. So you want to make it as smooth as possible. And if someone has to like jump through hoops and sign up to a specific thing, then that could be that friction that makes them leave. So that's one thing about Etsy. I think they have changed it now that you maybe don't have to sign up for an actual account, but you do just put your like details in. I'm not exactly sure about that anymore. Yeah, so basically if you have all your products on your own website, you know, you have complete control over how people are making their purchases and what everything looks like and how they're putting their payment details in and all that kind of thing. The other thing about having it as your sales platform is that it's your own environment. So there's less risk of actually losing those customers to your competition. So again, Etsy, as an example, it's very easy, especially if people are not going immediately to your site. Maybe they're going into the search function and searching for something. Your products might pop up, but it's very easy for them to get distracted and go to another shop as well. So it's kind of like if you are if you have your products in a shop and you have one shelf and people are looking at your stuff and then they see something on the next shelf over, kind of get distracted and they can go and look at that other thing. So there's a high risk of them moving away from your product and going somewhere else. Whereas if someone has come to your website to look at your thing, they're not going to get distracted by anything on your website that makes them click away. They're not going to leave your shop. So it's kind of more like, instead of having a shelf in a shop on consignment, it's like you own the shop and everything in the shop is yours. And the only way they're leaving is choosing to go out the door. So yeah, that's just another thing to think about. I mean, again, it's like having those other platforms like Etsy and, anything else that's out there, is an easy way to do things, and it's definitely a great way to get your foot in the door and start, and it can even continue to be a good source of income. But I think it's really important to just understand that you want to own the shop, if that makes sense. So you want to have that home base where all your products live and you have control over it. The other thing there is that also with having your own website, besides hosting fees, which are very affordable, they can be as low as like $3 a month, there's no ongoing fees. So I know like with Shopify and a couple of other platforms, you do have to pay I think a significant amount. I think it was about $29 a month maybe for the lowest one. I could be wrong, I'm not sure. But that's an ongoing cost that you are being charged. And perhaps on top of that, you also charge, PayPal fees and all the rest. So you really need to make sure that is worth your while if you're not running your own website and you are solely focusing on somewhere else for selling your goods. Then if it's an ongoing monthly fee, that has to be worth it. Like, are they really taking care of everything for you? Is it as easy as you put an image up and it gets sold, or do you still have to do a lot of the SEO and marketing and, driving traffic and all that kind of thing? Because it would be the same as if you were doing that with your own website, but you wouldn't have to pay that cost. So that's something you need to weigh up to, that ongoing monthly fee. Okay, so the next thing is that when you have your own website, you can build your credibility and also foster customer relationships. So first of all, you can showcase your products and services a bit better. You can give more information about your product, like how it was made and a bit of backstory. Maybe you put up a video of how you make things. You can really add all this stuff at no extra cost, because it's just adding more information to a page or adding a new page into your website. And you can set the images to whatever size you want, all that kind of thing. And so that sort of lets your customers view your products in more detail, perhaps, than what is available on other platforms. The other thing is too, you really can introduce yourself via a story on your About page. So I'm just going to pop up this quote by Simon Sinek, because it's a good guy. Basically, as an example, let's actually tell a story here. As an example, let's say Sally is looking for a wall clock in the shape of a deer for her kids' room. So she goes and Googles deer wall clock, and 2 websites come up for businesses in her local area, and yours is one of them. So let's just pretend. Sorry guys, we just dropped out. What a bugger. I don't know if that's going to be 2 videos now. Anyway, I'm going to continue my story. So we were in the middle of telling a story about Sally, who is trying to buy a deer clock, and she's gone to the About page of 2 businesses, and they're all identical. The deer clocks are identical, the price is identical, but she's trying to find out a bit more about the business. So she goes into your About page, and you say that you're located in Australia. You make your clocks by hand and you're a small family business, but you don't include your name or any photos of yourself. The other business, however, states that they make clocks by hand and they have a photo of themselves with the woman's family, and it goes into detail about why she started the business, that she loves being able to spend time with her kids because of the support she receives from her customers. She looks forward to meeting more people through her business. So there's a lot more about her there from them. Because she knows more about them, she trusts them more, she feels like she knows them more. So you've lost the sale. And the only difference being that you didn't put more of yourself online on your website. So fostering those customer relationships with people is really easy and really important. And you can also foster those relationships via a blog and your comment section. Now, a lot of stuff's been going around lately about like blogging being dead. I'm not sure that it's dead, and it's also still a really good way to bring traffic to your website with SEO. So you can sort of look into that a little bit more perhaps, but basically if you want to go a step further with your website and building those relationships, you can expand and deepen those relationships that you have with your customers via like posting about a little bit about your process, or like current orders you're working on, or a little snippet here and there of your life. It's important to keep it mostly about the business, but you can, talk a little bit about what you're doing, or, so they can feel that affinity and feel like they're your friend. So you can also like run giveaways and competitions easily on your own website without having to worry about all the extra hoops that you kind of have to jump through on Facebook to make it all like legit. But at the same time, make sure that you're abiding by any like state laws that you have around giveaways. And on the blog post that sort of accompanies this Makers TV episode, which I will link to in the comments below, there's actually a link to a guide about all the regulations and stuff to do with giveaways and whatnot. So you can jump over to that if you need to. So the next point is that it is your best marketing tool. So I just talked really briefly about SEO in the last point, but basically when selling online, nothing's more important than actually being found, and not showing up in search engines is the fastest way to lose credibility with your customers. So having your own website gives you the most control over it gives you greater opportunities, I guess, to really optimize your website and your products to show up in search engines. Which is SEO, which stands for search engine optimization. So most selling platforms do give you some options for inserting keywords and all that sort of stuff, but it's really nothing compared to having full control over all your text, all your image titles and alt tags and meta description and keywords and page titles and URLs and all of that stuff. So you really have total control over all that SEO stuff if it's your own website. And the important thing is there too is that, like, if you're not sure why it's important to be found when people are searching on Google and whatnot, it's because you want to be found when people are ready to buy. So when they're actually Googling dear wall clock, it means they're either researching, which means they're close to buying, or they are ready to buy. So you want to be found, so then they click on your website, so then they go, oh, here's one dear wall clock, and done. They're going to purchase from you right then and there. So yes, you want to be found in search. And I'm back, and I'm cranky at my internet because it's dropped out twice now. But all I need to do is finish up the video and tell you where you can find more information. So if you're just joining me now and this is confusing, it's the previous live videos that I'm just finishing up. Sorry. So I was just saying you can read more about the topic of 5 reasons you must have your own website for your business on my website, where I have a blog post with the same name. Just go to www.themakerscollective.com.au and type in website in the search bar and it will come up. If you would like help strengthening your brand and growing your business, you might consider joining the Makers Academy, which is a membership for makers and creatives like you wanting to learn how to sell your stuff so you can quit your job and do something more exciting. You can go to www.themakers.academy for more information. And if you found this video, not this one, the previous ones, helpful, please feel free to share and I will be back next week with more good stuff for you and probably less makeup on. So thanks guys so much, and I will see you next week.